Hello friends, I'm George, the nice smelling gentleman. Welcome back to the channel guys. I hope that all of you are doing good. Now today was fragrance delivery day. Today I got delivered 3 new scents from the house of Maison Alhambra, 3 new scents for my collection. The first one is Afro Leather, the second one is Fabulo Intense, and the third one is Exclusif Tabac. So in this video today I'm going to try them for the first time and I'm going to share with you my initial impressions of the 3 fragrances. I'm going to start off with African Leather, and this is how the box of African Leather looks. It's this sort of a dark brownish colored box with golden accents on it. And then this is how the bottle looks. As you can see, this of course is a clone of Memo's African Leather, and the bottle itself is very reminiscent of the original bottle. According to Google, the note breakdown of Afro Leather from Maison Alhambra has the following notes. The top notes are cardamom, geranium, leather. The middle notes are saffron, cumin, and vetiver. And the base notes are patchouli, agar oud, bergamot, and musk. I'll show you the sprayer in action and then I'll tell you what I pick up from this fragrance. The sprayer seems to be pretty decent. And then the actual scent. If you're not familiar with the way that African leather smells, you might be surprised when you try Afro Leather, because this definitely feels quite fresh up top in the opening. It doesn't feel like a dark leather scent that you might expect when you look at the name of this fragrance. I pick up the bergamot, I pick up the leather, I pick up some spices, the cumin is definitely there. All in all, this feels really fresh, spicy, and slightly leathery in the opening, and so far seems to be pretty close to what African Leather smells from Memo. Now I'm going to give this fragrance about an hour and a half and come back to it to see how the dry down is going. If you enjoy my videos guys, but for some reason you're not yet a subscriber to the channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button. It really motivates me to keep creating more useful content for you. And also don't forget to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. Now let's move on to the second fragrance that I'm going to try today, and that's Fabulo Intense. Now again, box wise, this is very similar to what you get with the original fragrance. It's a black colored bottle with white accents this time around on it. And then this is how the bottle looks, again as all other fragrances from Maison Alhambra that are clones of Tom Ford fragrances, this being a clone of Effin' Fabulous from Tom Ford. The bottle's design is almost identical to the original. This thing is 80 milliliters in bottle size, and I forgot to mention that Afro Leather as well is 80 milliliters when it comes to the bottle size. Now I'll show you the sprayer in action. Seems a pretty decent sprayer. Let's check out the note breakdown. As per Fragrantica, the notes are lavender and clary sage. The middle notes are bitter almond, vanilla, and iris root, and the base notes are leather, white ouds, cashmere, tonka bean, and amber. Now, immediately after spraying, this thing is quite sweet, and for me, in the opening, the most noticeable note is that bitter almond note. I pick up some freshness from the lavender. The clary sage is definitely there, giving this sort of like a slightly herbal feel to it. And also I pick up quite a lot of vanilla sweetness in this fragrance as well. All in all, it seems a very decent clone of the original scent, and so far this seems to be pretty close to what I remember Effin' Fabulous smelling like. Again, I'll give it about 90 minutes and I'll come back to check the dry down. And the last fragrance that I'm going to check out is Exclusif Tabac. Again, we get another brownish colored box with golden accents onto it. And this is how the bottle looks. I'll show you the sprayer. Another very decent sprayer. Now the note breakdown that I was able to find online for Exclusif Tabac doesn't have the notes listed in order, just a bunch of notes, but they are the following: ginger, osmanthus, citruses, artemisia, tobacco, patchouli, guaiac oud, vetiver, and tonka bean. Now this is a clone of Carolina Herrera's Mystery Tobacco. And the opening is very bright for a tobacco scent, feels kind of fresh, slightly floral. I pick up almost no spiciness out of it, and also feels quite sweet as well, with the tobacco note being the main note in the opening of this fragrance. And my guess will be that the tobacco note will be the main note on the dry down as well. It seems very light, but not in a bad way, and very safe kind of a tobacco scent, you know, to try. Feels very friendly tobacco scent. Now, again, the opening smells to me very close to the original scent, but I'll give it about an hour and a half, and I'll come back to check the dry down of this fragrance. Okay, so about 90 minutes have passed, so let's check out the dry downs of the fragrances. I'm going to go in the same order in which I tried them first, and I'm going to start with Afro Leather from Maison Alhambra. Now, I was checking on all three fragrances throughout this 90 minutes, and I noticed one thing. About 10-15 minutes after the initial spray of Afro Leather, the cumin note started to become very prominent, and that was almost everything that I was picking up out of this fragrance, you know, for about 10 to 15 minutes after, you know, the cumin note started to become very strong. But once that cumin note actually settled, this thing has turned into a sort of a very nice warm scent. I still get some of that, you know, spiciness. I get the leather, and I get a nice amount of amber sweetness in the dry down of this fragrance. And seems to be very enjoyable and very safe to wear, you know, leather fragrance. And I'm going to check how this performs over time, and then I'm going to do a full review. The next one, of course, is Fabulo Intense. Again, like with Afro Leather, I was checking this fragrance every few minutes. And about 5 minutes after the initial spray of this one, the bitter almond was so strong that this gave me vibes of something like Parfum de Marly's Pegasus. For about, I don't know, maybe 15 to 20 minutes, this was smelling pretty similar to Pegasus. But now on the, you know, the real dry down of this fragrance, this has settled into a nice mix of that almond, which has lost a bit of its strength, some sweetness from the vanilla and amber sweetness, and a nice leather note as well, which feels kind of a soft type of leather note. This also reminds me a little bit of a fragrance from Al Haramain that's called Amber Oud Black Edition, although that one is stronger and it's more sweet and it has a stronger leather note, but still Fabulo Intense, you know, is smelling close to the original fragrance from Tom Ford, but it also brings me some vibes of Al Haramain's Amber Oud Black Edition. And so far, this again seems to be a very enjoyable scent. And onto the dry down of Exclusif Tabac. Now, on the dry down, this thing has turned into a really nice and enjoyable mix of a strong tobacco note that has some helps from the sweet notes like tonka bean and vanilla. I definitely pick up a vanilla note in this fragrance, with that boozy vibe that I was getting in the opening, going strong still on the dry down. And this is a really enjoyable tobacco scent, and so far I'm really liking it. And again, I'm going to check the performance on this one before actually doing my full review. And so guys, in today's video I shared with you my first impressions of 3 new Maison Alhambra fragrances for my collection: the Afro Leather, the Fabulo Intense, and Exclusif Tabac. So far, all 3 fragrances seem to be very nice. I hope that you found this video interesting. If you did, give it a like, and I also hope that you're going to join me in my next video. And until then, stay safe and bye bye.